What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. It's the beginning of April, which means it's time to talk about my most anticipated movies of the month. Let me know in the comments before we begin what movies this month you're most looking forward to seeing, and as always, make sure to hit that thumbs up button if you like these videos, as it helps me out immensely by getting my channel out there. And if you're new here, I hope you consider hitting that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with reviews of new releases, older films, hidden gems, and so much more on a near daily basis. As always, this is just a reminder that these will be in chronological order, not ranked by how much I'm anticipating each movie. And while we're not fully back up to speed in the film world, unlike last month where I only had 5 movies on the list, we're going back to the usual 10. I was worried for a moment because at first there wasn't much, but thankfully a few films snuck in at the last minute. So let's not waste any more time and let's get to the list. Kicking things off is Concrete Cowboy. This focuses on a teenager who discovers the world of urban horseback riding when he moves in with his estranged father in North Philadelphia. This premiered at TIFF in September and received some fairly positive reviews out there, with Netflix picking it up shortly after. It's written and directed by Ricky Stobe in his feature debut, and is produced by Lee Daniels. The film obviously has some Western influences in there, which is a genre we don't get to see that often anymore, so that'll be cool. And while the trailer looks like it'll hit some familiar notes, it looks like we'll be treated to some great performances, most notably from Idris Elba, so I think it will be worth the watch. Netflix releases this one on the 2nd. French Exit stars Michelle Pfeiffer as an aging Manhattan socialite living on what's barely left of her inheritance and who moves to a small apartment in Paris with her son and cat, which may have the spirit of her dead husband residing in it. This premiered at New York Film Festival in October and technically had an awards qualifying run in New York and LA in February, but it gets a proper release this month. There was a push for Michelle Pfeiffer here, who did get a Golden Globe nomination for her performance, but while the film was positively received, it didn't leave as much of an impact with critics as it hoped it would. But the film still looks like it'll be a bit of fun with its surrealist premise, and it'll at least be nice to see Pfeiffer in a lead role again. So this will hit theaters on the 2nd. Shifa Baby focuses on a college student named Danielle who must cover her tracks when she unexpectedly runs into her sugar daddy at a Shiva, with her parents, ex-girlfriend, and family friends also in attendance. Written and directed by Emma Seligman and based on her own short film of the same name, this premiered at South by Southwest in 2020 and was critically acclaimed there, especially noting the performances, its representation, and effectively bringing out the claustrophobia in its setting, as it takes place in real time and in just one location. And because of that, this film feels like it'll be a cross between Hitchcock's thriller Rope mixed with the Coen brothers' A Serious Man, the latter of which this actually has been compared to. And if you get one look at the trailer, I'd say it's a pretty spot-on comparison, especially with its use of dark humor. This one's at the top of my list for this month, and it gets both a theatrical and VOD release on the 2nd. Boys from County Hell focuses on a crew of hardy road workers led by a bickering father and son who must survive the night when they accidentally awaken an ancient Irish vampire. This did its rounds in the festival circuit in the fall, where it received a lot of positive reviews before getting picked up by Shudder. Now, I'm usually a big fan of Shudder's original content. While not everything is a surefire hit, they've managed to offer some unique entries in the horror genre. And this looks like it's going to be a lot of fun, with an over-the-top feel as it mixes bloody violence and comedy. Only clocking in at an hour and a half, this should hopefully be a breezy, fast-paced 90 minutes that could possibly be one of the year's cult hits, and it hit Shudder on the 22nd. Stowaway focuses on a spaceship crew headed to Mars who discover an accidental stowaway shortly after takeoff. Too far from Earth to turn back, and with resources quickly dwindling, the ship's medical researcher emerges as the only dissenting voice against the group consensus that has already decided in favor of a grim outcome. I only caught the trailer for this once, and it seems fine. It looks like it's going to be a pretty methodical sci-fi thriller with a somewhat dreary feel, but what gave me some hope is that it's written and directed by Joe Penna, who also wrote and directed the underrated Arctic from 2019, and his co-writer of that film, Ryan Morrison, also returns for this. Like Arctic, it's another survival drama, though just in a different setting and with 4 cast members instead of 2 like in Arctic. Considering it's in their realm of expertise, hopefully lightning should strike twice for them, and it hits Netflix on the 22nd. Bloodthirsty focuses on a talented singer who starts to transform into a werewolf while working with a music producer at a remote studio in the woods. This premiered at Fantastic Fest in the fall of last year, where it was positively received, and it only just appeared on my radar as I was making up this list, so I don't know too much about it. It seems like it's a pretty simplistic setup, but the trailer looked pretty creepy, and I don't remember the last time we got a good old-fashioned werewolf movie, so this could be a nice sort of throwback film, but we'll see. As I said, I don't know too much about it, and I'm mostly going in blind here, so I don't have much to say. But it seems like it might be up my alley, and it'll hit VOD on the 23rd. In the Earth focuses on a scientist and park scout who ventured deep into the forest for a routine equipment run as the world searches for a cure to a disastrous virus. This is distributed by Neon and is written and directed by Ben Wheatley. And I'm approaching this one with caution. It looks interesting, but to be honest, I haven't been overly impressed with Ben Wheatley so far, even though his movies tend to get positively received for the most part. He gets the atmosphere down right, but beyond that, he may just not be my cup of tea. I'm willing to give this a chance though, because it did get some solid reviews out of Sundance, and horror is one of my favorite genres, so here's the hoping. It'll be in theaters on the 23rd. Mortal Kombat follows MMA fighter Cole Young, who seeks out Earth's greatest champions in order to stand against the enemies of Outworld in a high-stakes battle for the universe. Now, I'm not gonna lie, when this was first announced, I was kinda indifferent towards it, because we really haven't gotten too many good movies based on video games, and the fact this was in development hell for as long as it was didn't help matters either. But then I saw the trailer and I was immediately sold. This film looks like it's going all in on its R rating, with the trailer really highlighting its brutal violence, and director Simon McQuoid even said they're going to push that R rating to its limit. I try not getting myself too hyped for movies, but I'm really looking forward to this one, and it should be a fun, mindless action movie. This will be out in both theaters and on HBO Max on the 23rd. We Broke Up focuses on Laurie and Doug, a longtime couple who break up just days before Laurie's little sister Bia's wedding. In order to not disrupt the fun, the couple decides to pretend they're still together until the weekend is over. Now, the setup for this one's a little predictable, and the trailer for this did look cheesy, but what has me interested is the cast. Aya Cash and William Jackson Harper play Laurie and Doug, and they are both incredibly charismatic actors. Harper was really enjoyable in The Good Place, while Aya Cash has become one of my favorite new actresses after seeing her in Scare Me, as well as having recently binge-watched FX's You're the Worst. She especially can bring a lot to a project with her hilarious, energetic performances. I think with them in the lead, and with Jeff Rosenberg, who worked extensively on The Good Place as the director, I have some hope we'll be pleasantly surprised. So we'll see this in both theaters and on VOD on the 23rd. And finally, The Mitchells vs. the Machines focuses on a family who takes a road trip to drop their daughter off at the school, only for their plans to be interrupted by a robot uprising, causing them to have to work together to save the world. Previously known as Connected, this was produced by Sony, who was going to distribute this as well last year, but with the pandemic putting a hold on everything, it was sold to Netflix. The film kind of reminds me of if you cross National Lampoon's Vacation with Westworld, with its emphasis on family while fighting evil robots. Now, while Sony's animated films are considerably hit and miss, this film looks very energetic, and what really sold me was the fact that Phil Lord and Christopher Miller are producing it, with their production company also having a hand in the film. And whenever they're involved in something, whether they're directing or just producing, it's usually enjoyable, with their last co-production with Sony, Into the Spider-Verse, being one of the biggest surprises of the last few years. So I do have some hope for this one. Netflix releases it on the 30th. And that's what we have for April. I know this was initially supposed to be a big blockbuster month, and then stuff got delayed once again at the last second, but it looks like there are going to be some solid hidden gems thrown in here, and it especially looks like it'll be a good month for horror, so I'm excited either way. But let me know though, which movies in April are you looking forward to? Was it anything I listed here? Was it something I left off? Let me know in the comments below so we can discuss. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please like it and share it. And for more movie reviews and film discussion, please make sure to hit that subscribe button to stay updated. Thanks for watching everyone, and keep having fun with film.